Okay, I'm gonna hit the left button, see what this thing does. Okay, it's going right. It goes beep beep a couple times and then it makes that. When I want it to go left. And it makes a couple little beeps on there. There's right. Away works okay. Here works okay. So that's kind of odd. Has to do with that axis. I'm probably going to have to swap the cards first and try that, and then look at the motor. See what's going on with that. So, we power this off. Turn all the power off. Fire it back up. And when I go right, I go left, and it makes this little zipping noise. So that's the X-axis. So it looks like I'm going to need to probably change the card first because it's acting really weird like that. And it seems to be whenever I start it up. And whenever I stop it, it's doing this little right and left thing. You can see it go shivering. Okay. Something not quite right there, that's for sure. Okay, a few years ago I had one of my controller cards get a little flaky. And I learned that I could just swap my controller cards and see which one of them it follows. Whether it's a cable, motor, or a card. And so I'm going to swap that out. I'm going to pull the case's screws off of it, get down inside that, and then I'm going to swap the X and the Y card and see where the trouble goes. Okay, I pulled them 6 screws out of the case, and I'm going to take the cover off of it, have a look inside, see how dusty it is. I'll probably blow that out with compressed air first, and then see what we get going on there. So we'll see what we get going on with that. Okay, I really didn't need to take all that apart, but I did, just because I wanted to check the dust on it. It's been a couple years since I've been in that box. Anyway, so I just blew it out, put it back together. All I need to do is switch the X and Y cables, see which way the trouble was going, and it's heading me back over here towards this motor right here. So I'm going to look at that motor and see about swapping it out, or look at my bearings. But anyway, it's following this way, and we'll see what we got going on. Could be a cable. All right, I'll just unplug this cable, plugged it back in, and it's just hardly not responding. So I'm going to look at the motor. I did blow this out, and see what the deal is there. I think I have an extra motor, so I'm going to look at that. Okay, so I just unscrewed the 4 screws out of there. This slid out, and it came out of this bearing over here. And so we're coming into there, and there's no bearing on that side right there. That's just a pocket. And we'll swap this motor out, put that little coupler back on there, and see what we get. Alright, I swapped the motor out. It's doing the exact same thing. I'm going to do the left. So I'm going to assume that my cable's bad then, because I've changed the motor. I swapped the card. The only thing that's in the middle of it is the cable. And I wish I had another one. but I don't. So we'll just have to see about that. Okay. Well, it must be the day for things to die. I just lost one of my cables on my CNC machine, so I've got an axis out of it. Got a part ordered. Then my router just made this racket, like the bearing just went shot in it, and it's gone. So yeah. Anyway, so that was a good router. Had it for a long time, 20, 40 years probably, and I guess an old Craftsman brand. I'm not sure what it is, but there you go. She bit the dust. Okay, after I don't know how this router is. It's been a long time going. It's Portacable. It's been a good router. I just recently replaced the brushes in it. It ate up a piece when the router, and it broke a bit, about a $50 bit. Anyway, I've got one of these black plastic caps in here. I put new brushes in it, and one of the black plastic caps is dissolving, or it's starting to chip away. So I don't know how good a job it's going to hold that in, or so I'm going to repurpose this. Put this in the bottom of one of my router tables, and I'll still use it. I've got the plunge base that went with it. I just picked this up from Lowe's, and they had this kit with, in this case, with the plunge router bit for the same price as the standalone router, for 199 bucks. So this has got a Allen wrench in it that you can control the depth like a router lift table, and screwed it down in there, and it'll actually lift the router up in the standard base. So if you're looking for a router lift table, just buy that Bosch. This Bosch 1719, I think is what it's called. Anyway, highly rated router, and it's my replacement router for the Portacable in the Next Wave Shark HD 510. And I've got a cable that's bad. It should be here tomorrow that I'm going to replace and put that. So I thought, well, I'll just change this out while I got it, and update it after 5 years of routering. I didn't know how much longer this was going to do. It's still solid. I've had to replace a couple of collets in this, and I'll probably pick up some more collets for this router. I like to have my bits in the router so I don't have to handle the bits. They get a little warm sometimes when I'm handling them, and I like to be able to have it just where I'm not swapping the collets out, or swapping the bits out, but just the collets. Anyway, so there we go there, and all we got to do is undo this from the wrap up, and put the cord in there, and we'll be good to do that. And of course my top can come off there if I need to, but I'm thinking just a couple cable ties. We'll get that done, and that kind of thing. So there we go. Let's get her done. All right, time to change out this cable. Not this cable, but this cable that's coming down here from this motor right here. It's right here. We're gonna take this out, all these screws out, take this mounting hardware out, pull this cap off, and then pull this cable out and have a look at it. And tomorrow hopefully I'll be getting a new cable in, and we'll do that while I'm at it. I don't know, I may run that back inside that channel, this piece here, but we'll just see, because this has worked out here as far as that goes as well. So hadn't been a problem for that other cable. That was for the Z-axis motor. All right, I did upgrade my router, and so just while it's down, might as well work on it, get it up good shape. Okay, I pulled all these out of all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes right here, and pull them out. That's what they are. And the screws on this side, and they come in from the back side and fill that void right there. So we'll go ahead and pull the motor out, and then we'll pull these mounting things off of there. Okay, pull those 4 machine screws out. This thing here will now just come this way. And let's go ahead and pull the cable off the bottom here first and snap that so we can unplug it. and it will come off of there like that. Now this will come this way, and it's got the bearing in there for that. We're gonna have to take this off so that we can slide this part right here off, and we'll loosen that up, and we'll also pull these out here. So loosen that fella up, pull them out. Okay, before I loosen these bolts, this thing here is going to drop down because this is supporting that. So I'm taking the weight off of that by using a 4x4 and some shims here, and just lifting that up before it takes the pressure off that. I'll probably shoot a pin in that with a pin nailer just to hold it in place. All right, that's a 5/32, 5/64 wrench or Alex. So loosen it up just a little bit. Might take some pliers on the end of that to get that to come out of there. So let me slip all that off of there. Okay, those are star bits. Let me grab my star bits out. Okay, well, that's a solid piece of stuff. These are dowel bolts with a dowel screw on them. So they go in there, and you have to turn that parallel with that hole to get that to fire up. So it's about to come off there, and we'll see what's inside. Okay, there's something that goes on here. Some kind of a little sensor that's in there. I have to remember how that went in there. That's just taped in there, so I'm going to leave that in there. This is the slot that this goes down into. And now I'm starting to walk it out of the chain, and we'll take it over there to that. So let me get it broke out of the chain. This is my old one that I had cut off from my old cable. So let me get that done, and there we go. Well, had fun taking it all apart. We'll see. Hopefully that part will come tomorrow, and we can get it back together. I've been looking at this cable, and with a bolt-on meter, looking at those 9 pins that are in there, I only have 4 pins that are actually making it through. So the curious thing is how many of them are crossed over in that plug there, which makes me kind of curious what's going on back in there. Half a mind to open it up about 5 feet from there and test through there just to see what's going on. But I suspect the cable's bad, but I don't know that it's bad. I can't bolt on through it because I don't have really a good way of testing through it. My continuity is not following through on here. A couple of pins, I've got shorts on them, like they're wired together in there, and so it's not conclusive. But I actually need get a better pin out where I can get in there and not be shorting out against my plug. I may have some old cables like that. I can go in the computer room and check, see what I have. This is easy enough to test through, but that one right there is becoming a little bit of an issue. Anyway, there you go. All right, FedEx came through. There's my brand new cable. So I'm going to just hot swap it in there and check it out. And we'll see what we got. Should make it work. We'll give it a go. Okay, just plug my new cable into the X-axis port. And we'll go around here and plug it in up here at the stepper motor as a temporary deal, and to see how she runs. So let's get her done. Okay, moment of truth. Got her plugged in, just dangling out there. Let's just see what happens here. Okay, fired up. There's a pendant, and we're gonna go right. All right, that's the first time that's moved in a while. We'll go left. Well, there you have it. And that was definitely the cable. There must be a limit, soft limit switch or something up in here. This little thing that I put in right here. I'm not sure what it is, but there's a little limit right there. But there doesn't seem to be one on this side. And there's nothing in that pocket. So that I can tell. Because this one fills that. So I don't know if that's just a soft limit for one of the process. I didn't even know it was in there until I took it apart and started looking at it. So anyway, let me get this cable run back in here and get this thing back up and running. Okay. I did notice that these are getting a little slippage on there, so I don't know if they'll be good for it. I might have to slot them with a little Dremel tool and put a screwdriver slot in them the next time, because they acted like they were, you know, like aluminum. I don't know, they're not very hardy bolts, but anyway, it all went back together pretty good. There's my stepper motor. I did leave the cables on the outside. I believe that it's probably, this cable is either open right here at this bend inside right here, or it was at this bend where it was working back and forth, because after many years in the communication industry, I learned that wherever there's a clamp or a bend point, that's where she's going to break. So not always, but most of the time. And so anyway, there's that. Got my cables back in. It took me longer to put everything back in this flex duct than it did to do anything else. And I left myself some slack in there because I figured that's going to probably work out a little bit that way as I move it back and forth. So I put some more slack so I can pull that back that way a little bit. Got plenty down here. And she's in and everything's working. So we'll go left. Nice sound. And I keep all my bearings lubed up in pretty good shape. I did replace the router just recently, so I'm also checking my tension on these cables. I've had where this guy right here will get caught up right here on this thing, so that's kind of a disadvantage. But anyway, let's look at it right here and go right. So that's the full movement of that. And of course the cables, they come up and they go down. Everything's like that. So that's pretty much the outer limit. And then of course I'm out here at this outer limit that way. So let's go all the way back. Look at my cables. Make sure they're all looking good. And so far everything's looking pretty right. Okay, let's go away. Press the away button. And I put a couple cable ties on this back in there. That may really hit that bolt back in there. That probably won't last very long. Of course, I'm at the very end of it back in there. But looks like I'm hitting my little cable thing back there. And of course, that's the very end of it. So we'll never go back that far. Of course, I'm hitting all my limits there. Let's see what we got going on here. A little fine tuning. A little bit of fine tuning. It looks like it will need that. And this was hitting right there on that little keeper there. So, but I almost never go back that far. So let's go all the way to the left. And that's of course my axis that was messed up. And so we're all good there. And looking good. So I'm ready to get back to CNCing. This cable was the problem, and there is not anywhere on the outer sheath of this that shows that there's an open or a break or any kind of abrasion. The cable is totally without blemish on the outside. So what I have been working on is a way to test that cable, and so I made a breakout cable that will allow me to test those cables. And that's the second cable I've had go bad in 5 years. So I'm thinking, okay, that might be an issue. Anyway, so I'm making a breakout pinnage where I can test the volt ohms between it. And I just now verified my continuity between my 4 conductors. And coming over there, that's a 4 conductor stepper motor here. So I'll be able to tell which one of these are open. And My telephone man experience says I should be able to get that down to within 6 inches or so, because I have some stuff that I can do that with. And anyway, here's the motor. I never did get into that. It's packed pretty good. The package is a little bit beat up by the FedEx truck people, I would assume. But, you know, hey, it arrived here safely. I packed that down with the other motor. And so now I have two motors that are be stored underneath that, and we'll be set to go. I like the Next Wave product. It's good enough to get professional work done. It's not industrial quality as far as running forever and ever without some kind of issue, but 4 and 5 years, maybe only a couple little issues that I could resolve pretty much myself, and just tell them what was wrong with it, and they sent me a new one. So I like the logic of this system. It's not built so that I have to tweak every little thing, make sure it works. I can do different things to it to make it work. And so, yeah, really pleased with the Next Wave product. And I don't expect something after all many years, like I said, in the industry. You get the cables that are moving back and forth, you know. One job, they can move back and forth 1,000 times, you know. Just the what depends on what you're doing with it, but you know it will flat get with it. So take a wire and bend it enough, it's going to break. So that's what's happened to me on this one. But man, I have just literally done hundreds and hundreds of projects. I'm getting ready to go back to some of my lantern building. This is I made 6 of these, and they're carved, 3D carved. And I did that with the ball nose pretty much. And there's 6 of them. There's walnut, oak, maple, and some extra stuff. So this is carved, and these are gifts. That's a copyright emblem, so I don't charge for them. I just give them for donations or for the Rangers to get fundraising done with it. So anyhow, I went down through some of my old cables down in the basement and looked for some RGA. I thought that was a serial, but it's a VGA cable. And so then I did find a couple serial cables with the 9 pins. Anyway, playing. I'll get back to work.